Every single successful person you will ever meet had the exact same feelings as you. And that is the bottom line truth. And the ones that make it are the ones that keep going, no matter how hard it is.
How do you build a network, run a profitable business, and make an impact? Oh, and have a personal life at the same time? That's the question, and this podcast is the answer. I'm your host, Chaz Wilson, husband, father of 5, author of the book 5+1, president and co-founder of Master Networks Inc., a national networking organization. Look, each week I bring you successful entrepreneurs who will share success strategies of how to effectively build a network, add valuable wisdom to your journey, and help you succeed. Welcome to Connect, Share, and Prosper. Hey everybody, welcome to Connect, Share, Prosper. Super excited for today's episode. You're going to want to stop what you're doing. If you're driving, pull over or go back and listen to this when you can pay attention, because today you're going to hear about how to make that comeback. If you're in a spot where you're feeling like, man, could it get rougher? Could it be harder? How do I get back to the top? You're going to hear today how to have that comeback. My guest today, father of 2 from Southern California. He is the host of HGTV's Flip or Flop since 2013 and has over 300 house flips under his belt. Welcome to Connect, Share, Prosper, Tarek El Moussa. Sorry, I messed up your name.
Hey, man, it's not your fault. That's my parents' fault. I got a really messed up name. It's Tarek El Moussa.
And I knew it, and I don't know why. I was just reading too fast, so there you go.
Well, that's the great thing about life. We make mistakes and we laugh at them, right?
That's right, Tarek. So, hey, man, thanks again for being on the show. I was privileged to be on your show not that long ago, and I told my team we need to have Tarek on the show because I felt your passion for life, and I felt a connection of you trying to add value to other people. It's interesting, you know, I get a lot of people on the show, and you know, there's a lot of chest puffing, if you will, pounding on the chest sometimes of ego, and I didn't feel that at all from you. And so, first of all, that's a compliment to you of who you are. But second, you talked about your comeback, and so for those listening, man, you've been through some stuff. One of those I know was cancer. And tell us the story about that. It was a viewer of your show that reached out to you, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've had many comebacks in my life, and you brought up ego a second ago. And you know what? Ego can really, really screw someone's road to success. Like, it really can. And I'll be honest, at a young age, when I was killing it at 22, 23, 24, I had the world's biggest ego. And, you know, the best thing that ever happened to me was getting my ass handed to me when the economy tanked, because I really had to start over. But to get to your question on the cancer, I was filming, it was season 1 of Flip or Flop. One of my viewers was a nurse out of Texas, and she was actually watching my show and saw like a lump on my neck, and she messaged the network saying, hey, I'm a nurse, you need to go check that thing out. I went and checked it out. It turned out it was cancer. So that's how I found out I had cancer. I was, I think, 31 years old, 2013, and that was thyroid cancer. And then through further testing, they found out I also had testicular cancer. So it was kind of a double whammy back to back. It was a very difficult time in my life.
What was that like when you got that news? Like, first of all, how'd you feel like a viewer reaches out, right, and says, hey, you should get this checked out. It's amazing you didn't just, you know, pass that by and go, yeah, whatever. But then also, what was it like when you got the news of kind of the double there?
Yeah, you know, one thing that's kind of interesting for me, at least, I listen to what everybody has to say. Doesn't matter their financial level, their education level, success level, doesn't matter to me because everybody's good at something. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but I'm just saying it's really important just to listen to others, because I remember years ago I had a business partner. He said, I don't listen to people that have less money than me. I'm like, well, that's the dumbest statement I've ever heard. Maybe they can be totally broke, but know everything there is about living a long, healthy life. So that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So I think it's very important. So that's why I responded to her email and I took action on it. And I'm glad I did, because I did find out, in fact, I had cancer.
Wow. So you get the news, you're in the middle of this show that's like, you know, you've got to be feeling like top of the world. Things are going well. Business, let's see, what was that? What year was that? 2014?
It was 2013. Season 1 had just aired. We just got signed contract for season 2. The business was growing. This was like early on in my TV career. Everything was going up, and bam, I got hit with that.
Man, what'd that feel like?
It was really, really scary. It was. But the one thing I can tell you this, the year that I had cancer, I quadrupled my house flipping company.
What
So that was something I was really proud of.
you was that? Did that like up your focus? Is that what it was? Like, did you just get really committed differently, or what happened?
You know what? I just faced the cancer head on, and I told myself I was going to do everything humanly possible to keep living the life I was living, keep working as hard as I was working, and just do it for my kid. And at the time I only had one kid, so that's what kept me going. But it was really scary. Like, you hear, oh, cancer, it's like, oh, wow. And then all of a sudden you hear it about yourself, and you're like, holy shit. I didn't even
Yeah,
know I could have cancer. I'm 31 years old.
yeah. Yeah, so like I appreciate you sharing that because as you're saying that, I started like actually my mind's going through a handful of our members of our network that have been recently diagnosed with cancer, all different kinds, obviously, but like and in talking with them, the challenge that's in their mind right now of how do they face the everyday, how do they tackle and keep their business and their family and balance all of that in this heavy news that they've got. So
Yeah, man. It's tough. You just got to dig deep. You
yeah.
got to dig deep. And like everything in life, you got to remember why you're doing what you're doing. If you don't have that why, it's just never going to be the same. So you just got to know why you're doing what you're doing.
So let's transition a little bit because you talked about one of the other comebacks you've had is when you got knocked down and your butt kicked in the real estate market. I owned a real estate company back in those times. So 2008, 2007, 2008, man, it killed me. Brutal. I was highly leveraged in real estate and a real estate company, agents, mortgage title companies. And it was like day to day, man. It was like every day felt like going to war of just trying to keep doors open. What was it like for you?
Man, I mean, you talk about a depressing point in life, man. Like, I remember those days. Just honestly, looking back, it's like, feels like a different life, man. I remember waking up and just filled with like anxiety and sadness and depression and feelings of loss, going through the motions, going to work every day and not making a dollar for months at a time, and watching my bank account dwindle and selling my houses and my cars and not even being able to afford lunch. Like, it was the most traumatic business experience I've ever experienced. And I think I told you last time, I wouldn't change anything that happened because the lessons I've learned through hardship are much greater than the hardship itself, if that makes sense.
So you did share that last time, and I appreciate that. Although I know what some people are thinking, though. Sometimes it's easy once you're past it, like you've gotten through it, to look back and go, "Hey, man, I'm really grateful for the lessons I learned." How do you stay focused in the moment, like when you're in that? Because again, we have some people in our network. I have some good people in our circle who, they're either going through, like I said, cancer or divorce, or they've lost a business, or they've had a spouse die, or all these things that they're in right now. And it's easy on the back end to say, "Here's what I learned." But
Exactly.
how do you do that in the moment?
Yeah, looking back, it's always easier, right? But
Yeah.
in the moment, let's just be real. When you're in the moment, it sucks. I mean, there is nothing you can do. I'm sorry. Like, it's going to suck. The one thing that every single person needs to remember, which I didn't, it's not them, it's everyone. The feelings that they're feeling is everyone. The struggles that they're facing is everyone. Every single successful person you will ever meet had the exact same feelings as you. And that is the bottom line truth. And the ones that make it are the ones that keep going, no matter how hard it is.
So good, Tarek. I'm with Tarek El Moussa, star of HGTV Flip or Flop, and he's joined us here. He's sharing some great wisdom. I want to dig on that a little bit. Just had a conversation with somebody last week who was sharing some experiences he went through early on in his being a dad, a father, a husband, all that, and feeling like things were falling apart. And he said the biggest thing was he felt alone. And yet now that he's past it and starts talking about it, because in the moment he didn't talk about it. Now he's talking about it and realized a lot of people were in that, have gone through that, or in that. And so why is it that we always feel alone, as you just said, and yet we know other people go through this stuff, but we don't talk.
Because that's just an entrepreneur breed. That's who we are. It's in our blood. It's in our DNA. That's how we're wired. That's why we do what we do, and that's why we live the way we live, because that's just who we are. And the people that are going after success and the people that are entrepreneurs, they have all the same traits and all the same characteristics. right?
Yeah.
So it's just I feel like we feel things really, really strong. We carry a really heavy burden because as an entrepreneur, your entire existence is based off improving and getting bigger and better and being more and more and more. And then when you start failing, it strips you of your identity. At least it did for me. Like I lost who I was. I said, "What? I can't believe I'm failing. Like, how am I not successful? I don't understand." The biggest thing that I used to do was beat myself up. So the one piece of advice for anyone going through shit right now is don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
And it's okay to feel the way you're feeling. It's normal. That's why we have feelings. If we didn't have feelings, we'd be robots, right? But it's just how you move forward based on those feelings. You just always have to keep believing, and it's all in the mindset. That's the truth.
So amazing. I was just talking to my teenage kids about this, like, the challenge with social media is all you see is everyone's good stuff, right? Most of the time. And so like the kids just compare each other and feel like if they feel depressed or they feel beat up that they can't because no one else is feeling that, because based on everything they're seeing is that no one else is going through that. And
I hate to interrupt you, but it's so sad the way that we're living today. So I don't know if you heard, I believe Instagram is making some changes to where they're no longer showing likes. And isn't that sad? There are literally kids out there committing suicides because they're not getting the right amount of likes. Talk about social approval. Another conversation I had yesterday was all these people living these fantasy lives on Instagram, on social media, posting jets they can't afford, driving cars they can't afford, trying to create an image. It sucks for them. This shit is going to go bad because guess what? If this is the best it's ever going to be and social media is no longer the in thing, which eventually is going to happen years from now, where are they going to be then?
yeah, we talk about this, Tarek, all the time. You know, we're in a business where we are building local networking groups and relationships. And I every once in a while I meet some quote, and I use it loosely, influencer, right? Who's like, nah, man, it's all about the social media. And like, look, there's value in that. I get it. But it's almost like we got away from the relationships and just building, you know, because it's slower and it, you know, it's not as transactional and fast, and people get away from those relationships. And at the root of everything, they just want to be connected. They want to feel loved. They want to feel appreciated and wanted and needed. Like all of those things are just human needs. And we
Yeah,
get,
like I'm sorry, go ahead.
you're good.
Oh no, I was saying, yeah, like I'm a big believer in social media and all the amazing things about it, the exposure, the training, the motivation, everything you get from social media. Even myself, I get inspired. But the thing is a fine line between, enjoying the benefits of social media versus letting it dictate how you live and becoming depressed over not getting the social approval that you want. And it's really sad, actually.
So let me transition that a little bit, because I'm curious. I want to ask you, like, how do you balance that, being that, you know, you have a strong social media presence, TV, like how's TV changed anything that like I know I've got friends who've been on TV and stuff, and like sometimes there's a little bit of that ego at first, and then they kind of have to get set again. And like, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, I see myself on TV and I'm getting a lot of notoriety and all that. Like, what was it like for you, and how do you keep that balance?
For me, like TV, like getting on TV was the last thing I ever thought I would do. Like I was like, get on TV, right?
Right.
So you get on TV, and next thing you know, you're known around the world. I've been on TV a long time. I have fans like all around the world. I go to other countries and I have fans all day, every day. I say hi to people. I meet fans. I take pictures. And for me, one thing I realized from being on TV is it gave me an opportunity to say, you know what, every single person is watching me. Like I am being watched, and that's the truth. And I said, if I'm being watched, I should act the right way, and I should also be doing things to help other people, right? Because I've been given an opportunity to influence others, and I have a decision to influence them on a positive way or a negative way. So I just decided to take my platform and influence people in a positive way and help them improve their lives, because I get gratification out of it. Like, my favorite thing to do is help someone out, because I don't know what to say other than it makes me feel good, So, helping others is good. We're human connection, human contact. We all want to be a part of something.
Yeah. So I saw that you were just, by the way, that's so good, guys. If you're listening to Tarek, and I joke, like he gave me a lot of grace right at the beginning, talk about helping people out. Like I've talked to Tarek, I've been on his show, and then I messed his name up right from the beginning. He gave me grace and said, yeah, no. By the way, I have a name that gets messed up all the time too, Chaz, like people mess it up all the time. So, But like, he's so passionate about this, and Tarek, that's what I think. Like, I think when I was on your show and we started interacting, that's what I felt like. There's people that say that, and there's people that live that, and that gets you kind of see through that pretty fast. Like, and so I see that you do that. And I've also seen that you recently, so you guys are getting ready to launch a new season, right? Were you just in South Africa getting ready to launch a new season?
Yeah, so I'll talk about that right now, the new season and everything. But it's funny. So we met last week when you were on my podcast, and I can tell you right now, when you first got on the podcast with me to how you see me now is completely different. The way I read you, the first time I saw you on the screen, you didn't know who I was. You didn't know how credible I was. And at the end of the podcast, I knew that you believed in me, and I knew that we would have a strong relationship. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that call. So I was in South Africa because right now HGTV airs our shows around the world. But now they're actually having networks. So HGTV is going to be an actual TV channel in South Africa. So the launch was super exciting. So season 8 of Flip or Flop starts airing August 1st. I did a digital series called Tarek's Flip Side that you can find through HGTV, which is super cool. It's kind of a behind the scenes of my life. Like, what's my life like outside of Flip or Flop? What I do, me and my kids, which I'm really excited about. And then I guess I can tell you this because the podcast isn't going out today or tomorrow, right?
Yeah. It's going out in a couple weeks. No, it's
okay, perfect. So tomorrow we're announcing that I'm getting picked up for 14 episodes of my own solo series called Flipping 101.
Awesome.
Which you were the first person I'm telling about this.
Man, I'm honored.
Yeah, on a video or audio, and it's really cool, man. It's all about me helping rookie flippers get through the process without losing it all. So I'm really excited about this project, and it gives me an opportunity. It's going to be I start filming that in a few weeks.
That's so cool.
And yeah, I start filming in a few weeks. 14 episode pickup, and it's all about mentoring rookie flippers.
So we have some in our network. This will be great. So we'll keep an eye out for that so we can let them, hear about that once it's live and everything. So, man, that's super exciting. So I was going to ask you what was next for you. You kind of already, first of all, honored that you would share that here. But so Flipping 101's coming out. Like, what's a big goal for you that you're working towards?
Man, I'm working on so many different things, bud. My big push right now is to continue doing what I'm doing and grow across all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube, and just really create a brand and create, different items, products, whatever it is that can really help influence other people's lives. And I just really want to do big things, and I'm really excited about it. My TV career is going great. Flip or Flop, we're still going. The new show's coming out. Just did the digital series. I'm launching Life by Design, which is my podcast. I'm also doing Life by Design YouTube show. I'm also coming out with 2 other YouTube shows. So I'm just content. I just want to bring as much as I can to the world, You're
hustling, man. I love it. So
all day, every day, man. From the second I wake up to the second I go to sleep, man. My life when I'm not with my kids is work. That's it.
I feel you, but it probably doesn't feel like work, right? Like it's work, but it's not like you love it.
Here's one thing which I love, is it's not work for me. I'm doing what I want to do. And when I get stressed out, which happens a lot, I take a break. I tell myself, this is a choice. I have enough rental properties and investments where I can retire today at 37 years old and live an amazing life and never work again. I'll just tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So when I'm in a position where I'm upset or frustrated or having anxiety, it's a choice. I don't have to do this shit. I want to do this shit. Yeah. So if I want to do it, be a big boy, put a smile on and suck it up. And that's what helps get me through my day, remembering it's a choice.
That has to be the tagline of this episode. Like, that has to be it, like right there. Put your big boy pants on and suck it up. Let's go to work. I love that, by the way. So, guys, if you're listening to this, make sure you go follow Tarek and like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Let's use our platform to help get him some more exposure on that so he can keep, as he said, life by design and really helping make an impact on people. Let me ask you one question that I was asked on a podcast that I'd never been asked before. Caught me off guard, took me a little bit, so I'm giving you a little prep here. But the question that I was asked was, from a business standpoint, when was something I was the most proud of in my business? Like, because often we talked about ego at the beginning. So this is like the one chance to be like super big ego about something you're really proud about, to celebrate in. What's something like you go, man, I was super proud of this?
Well, I'm super proud of the fact that I started all of this as a 20-year-old kid with no education, delivering pizza, sitting in a cubicle, working 20 hours a day, all by myself.
Wow.
And it was all me. Like, I had no mentors and no coaches, and I just grinded it out, and I taught myself, and I just followed my path in life. But I'm proud. Here's what I'm proud of: looking back and thinking of that kid that was in that cubicle refusing to quit. I literally have videos that I used to film of myself in the office at 2 a.m. as a 21-year-old kid, talking to myself, telling me, one day you're going to make it. And I have those videos where I'm telling myself this 15, 20 years ago, you're going to make it. And
Man,
I did.
that sounds like a show right there, showing those clips. That'd be pretty cool. Like,
Yeah, they're real videos. I'm actually going to release those. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm literally talking to myself, like, listen, I know you're broke. It's 2 in the morning. You're like miserable, but this shit's going to pay off. And you know what? It did. And you want to know why it did? Because I refused to quit. That's it.
So good. You are, like, not to coin the phrase or to use the phrase too loosely, like the comeback kid, man. You just came back, like you said, with business beating you up and all the things that you've been against, because you just don't quit. And if you don't quit, the game's not over.
If you don't quit, you don't fail. And every single time I've come back bigger. And I'm telling you right now, this comeback of mine right now is going to be by far the biggest comeback I have ever done. I am right now planning on doing bigger things than anyone ever thought possible, to the point where I'm going to look at my worldwide TV show as not a big deal anymore. That's how big of things I want to do.
Super proud of you, man. It's a pretty cool story. And like I said, the little bit that I've gotten to know you, I can feel your heart, your passion. And frankly, the more I've talked to other people who similarly share that, it's becoming a lost breed. And I think that authenticity is attractive to people. They're looking for somebody to go, man, I can talk about how hard it's been. I can talk about how the struggle. And so I appreciate you being transparent, honest. And guys, you heard it on Connect, Share, Prosper. Tarek's putting, like, he's doing the Babe Ruth, pointing to the wall. He's saying, my comeback's going to be huge. It's going to be big. You guys got to hear it here. So, man, I just appreciate you taking some time to be on our show today, sharing some wisdom. And, we learned a lot today. You guys, make sure you follow Tarek on all of his social media. Make sure you connect with him and watch for some big things from him. And I know we're going to do some things. I have some ideas I want to send to you. Our audience loves what you're doing, and we'll stay connected in some of that stuff. But thank you so much for just being on our episode of Connect, Share, Prosper.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate everything you're doing. Keep hustling, keep grinding. I love your story. I love everything you've gone through, everything you've overcome. And man, we're just getting started, buddy. So thank you so much.